our channel. So far we have learned about exceptions, how to catch exceptions and how to create custom ones in Python, right? But like printing errors to the console is not enough in production ready code, right? So in real world applications, instead of printing we should use something called logging in Python, right? So in this video we will explore about how to use Python's built-in logging module to track the errors efficiently and making debugging and production monitoring much easier. Okay, so before going to the coding, first we should know why to use the logging, right? So printing error with print might work for small scripts, but in larger application logging is very essential. So here is why. Okay, one is production ready, tracking the errors even when a program is running on a server is very crucial, right? In real world examples. So this is useful, this logging. Next is log to the files or remote system. So it is also useful for debugging if there is any crashes happen without any user intervention, right? Then customizable level. So instead of printing or logging each and every messages, we can just choose to log critical issues in production, right? Instead of just putting all the things in the log. And as we said, it's easier debugging. So store logs for later analysis, which helps in debugging more efficiently. Okay. So let's dive into how Python makes it easy to implement. So Python comes with a built-in logging module that allow us to capture and store error message systematically, right? So this is the basic syntax, basic setup. So we need to import the module logging, and then we can use this setup, the configuration. Here we have different kinds of label. So here we are using the debug level. Then format is, this is basically time format, in which format we want to print the timing, date and time, and then the actual error message which is going to print in the log, right? So the output seems to be like this, like we have the timing, we have the label name, whether it's a error or debug or something like that, and the actual exceptions which we want to print. Okay, so there are different logging levels in Python, mainly 5. Okay, so one is debug. Okay, so debug is basically detailed information for debug. So if you want to see what is going on, we can use debug, so it will give the detailed information. Next is info. It is general events. If you want to print some general info like application started or something like that, we can use info. Warning. So warning is not an error, it's something which is unexpected. Okay, so Python program gives us some warning, but the program won't stop, it's not an error. Then the error, that is kind of exceptions which we can print out, we can log. And the last is critical. Critical is like a very severe error, like any system failure is happened and all. In that case we can use critical. So in most of the time we use debug or debug for our, when we are developing our application, and in production and all we can use error, mostly error or info, right? So now let's see how we can set up our logging with a demo. So let's say this is our code. We'll go to Visual Studio Code, and here we can just write something like this. Okay, so I think I have missed something like this basically. So we imported the login, and this is the basic config. Okay, so now let's say we have something try, let's say division by 0 error. Okay, except 0 division error, and then we can use our logging dot let's say error division by 0, something like this. You see the output. We have the timestamp when the actual error occurs, and then the label name, which is error, and then division by 0. Right? The same thing we want to use. Instead of error, we want to use debug and division by 0. We will say we'll get timestamp and then the label name, which is nothing but our debug, and then the message which we are trying to print here. So like this we can set up. Now there might be some situation where you want to instead of just printing here, it is again printing, right? We don't want to print, we just want to save it to a file. So what we can do is we can put a file name here. Okay, file name, and then let's say we can put error dot log. Okay, and then everything else will be same. We have format, and then we have logging level, and this way here we can just say error, let's say. Okay, now if we run this, message is getting printed, but here also we will get something error. We should get error dot log where it print file name. Let me check. It should create one file. We say errors.log. Let me just try again. Uh, okay, I'm not sure why, but it should create a file with this name. Maybe it is creating in some other place. I need to check that. But this is how we can handle the logging part in Python. Okay. So we have covered about different levels also. What are the different levels? If you want to get some warning, we can use it. Warning. We can use debug. So like this, we can handle these exceptions, right? Okay. So back to the presentation. So what are the best practice for using logging in Python? Okay. One is use structured logging, means keep log very organized and with timestamps and severity level, so that it will help us to understand whether it's an error or it's a debug or it's an info or warning, like that. So always try to write log to the file so that it will be there for our future review, and use appropriate log levels. So instead of using debug in production, use something which is um, needed for the use case, right? So with logging, I think this exceptional handling part is almost completed. Okay, so we have covered each and every aspect of exception logging in Python, starting from try, catch, accept, finally, and custom exception, and then exception logging. Okay, so I hope now you will have a solid understanding of how to handle errors in Python effectively. If you like this video, please like, subscribe to my channel, and put on your comments in the comment box if you have any further questions on exception logging. Thank you for watching.